Hello, comrades.
That's a really good Zarya impression.
I wish I could remember what she says when she does her super. It's like...
We'll hear it later.
I don't know. Figure out what the fuck it is. Anyway, today we're talking about Zarya and her amazingness as being a tank. She's probably one of my favorites to play by far because she's just... I fit her so well as far as her playstyle. It's so much fun. So anyway, pros and cons we'll be going over. How she's supposed to be played, in my opinion. Kind of what you need to do with her and strategies to do with her, and how well she works on teams. And yeah. So
how
anyway.
badass she looks.
She's so good.
She looks so, you know that she awesome
was.
Tattoo,
do you know that she was added into the game by Blizzard because there was so many skinny characters, like women skinny characters that it was complained about, and they like said fuck it, we'll make the butchiest badass like woman and put her in there.
I did know that, but only because you told me before.
Well, sorry, I told you again. Anyway, so just like you just saw just a second ago with me doing her ultimate ability. Her ultimate ability is, we're going to go over her pros and cons real quick. So her ultimate is insane for being able to wipe out complete teams, especially during a payload or playing control, whatever. It has the ability to shoot it at an enemy team and sucks everyone in. It's a black hole, but it sucks everybody in and allows your other teammates to use their supers or just focus fire a group, and has the whole enemy team combined into one area so that you can just focus fire them and completely wipe the team down. So it makes it so you can easily wipe out teams with no problem. I think it's probably one of the best supers in the game to be able to do that.
Does it do damage?
Yeah, it does. It does deal damage too. And you can also just shoot it like a normal secondary fire like she's got, and then you can go in and deal damage to them while it's going on too. It's not something like you have to channel or anything like that. You just pop it once and it goes, and you can go about your business. Also, both of her firing modes, her primary fire, which you can see right now, the beam, and her secondary fire, which is the sort of like, I guess however you would say it, like grenade launcher kind of type of thing.
Yeah, that's
it's an arcing motion. So when you want to get at long distances, you need to really kind of shoot it up in the air to be able to guarantee the distance that you want to get it at. It does less damage than the primary fire, of course, but it also does splash damage, and it can actually knock people different directions. So if you happen to see somebody next to the end of the map and you shoot them with that, it can actually knock them off the map if they're facing that way. Also, her two abilities for her PlayStation 4 is going to be L1 and R1, which is her barrier and her other barriers she can give to a teammate. Make her incredibly useful all around because she can survive. Like right here, I pop my shield on me, and it gives me energy to make my attack stronger and make me stronger in general. And I just survived that D.Va ultimate. You know what I mean? So I can do that for myself, and I could also do it for another teammate if I wanted to, and max out my energy almost in one ultimate shot. We'll get into her energy management later on. That's like one of her most important things for her to do because it makes everything stronger. Also, her damage output whenever she gets the particle beam all the way up to 100 or even a little bit less than 100 is significantly high. It's a huge noticeable difference between being at like 0 or 10 or 20 up until like 90 and 100. It's severely different, and it's also like visually noticeable, so it's really good cue that way. Speaking of visual cues, let's go over one thing too about that. Her beam gets larger as her energy grows, and the ball right next to your hand on the screen will get bigger as well. Right now you see it's a little tiny. As she gets more energy, that ball gets bigger, and it becomes full mass when it's at 100%, obviously. Also, I think
how does that... Okay, I'm sorry.
That's what.
So the ball goes up, and the energy... Yeah, I see the ball. And that
it grows
the higher
in size.
that goes, the more damage you're doing?
Yeah. Okay. So, like, see how big it is now?
Yeah.
See how on my screen says 54, and it's counting down? That's how much energy I have.
No.
Yeah. So they're connected. See how the ball's bigger now? They got more energy?
Yeah.
So that they're intertwined. That on the screen right there where your crosshair is just a way for you to visually see the numbers, because as your energy, as you build energy, if you're not continuously building it, it counts down by 1 every second. So it'll go down to 0, because if you're constantly, because if it was to stay at like 50 for like a couple of seconds or whatever, it would be like if I got my energy to 100 and then next thing you know, I'm still sitting there for like 5 seconds with 100 energy, but no enemies are around me. It's a little bit overpowered.
Yeah.
So they have to kind of like
So it really encourages to like you to.
stay in the action.
Yeah.
It encourages you to get back in the fucking action.
Okay.
Yes. Some of her cons too. She's really slow. Like there's no real good way to get in and out of battles. You kind of just have to hope and have some survivability and kind of just stay where you are inside the fight. And because getting back to the point, unless you've got like a Lucio or actually Lucio's the only one that can really help you, kind of push you forward and get your movement speed up a little bit, you're just going to be walking the whole entire time to get where you want to get. And see how I stepped right in front of that thing?
Yeah.
I popped my shield, stepped right in front of it, so she had to aim at me, and then I got a ton of energy from it. And I also helped my teammates because I'm taking the chunk of the damage, which is her main role as being a tank, obviously. Also, the one of her other cons too, if you're just randomly popping the barriers for your teammates and barriers for you, it's not going to end well for you, mainly because there's going to be times where you need those things and you need to be wary of using them. And if you pop them too early, you could die from an ultimate because the shield wears off after a certain period of time. And right here, I'm trying to like get the hell out of there because I popped my shield just a minute ago before that. So there's a perfect example of it. Diva came in with her ultimate. I didn't have my shield up because I popped it like a second early, and it went down. Also, coordinating the other enemy teams can coordinate their attacks against your particle beam or your particle like barrier kind of thing, and kind of not really make it useful for you. So say if like you're getting kind of one-on-one with a Reaper or with a Genji or something like that, and you pop the particle barrier. God, I almost want to say particle beam every single time. But you pop the barrier and the Genji stops shooting at you, but somebody else starts shooting at you from behind you, and you turn around. If they coordinate enough, they can kind of mess with her. But again, it takes a coordinated team to be able to take her shield down effectively, and her not be able to capitalize off of it.
Yeah.
And what I said before about her mobility, she really has no means of escaping or healing. Now, she is one of the few characters in the game that recovers health like exponentially, I guess you would say, because half of her health is shield and half of her health is regular health, as you can see by the half blue and half white. So she recovers the shield part of it as well. Let's talk about some things about her actual guns and stuff. So her main gun, well, actually, I guess we can talk about her energy first too, before we get into going with the guns, because the guns actually work off the energy. So as you can see in the middle of my screen on the crosshairs, the energy that's going around, the actual solid bar will get bigger as my energy goes up, and it'll fill up the entire empty hollow spot there. And of course the numbers go from 0 to 100, 100 being the highest energy you can be at, and 0 being the lowest stationary energy that you're at. You gain energy by people dealing damage to targets that have shields. So let's say I give a shield to, a Winston that's charging in, and they start shooting Winston. All the damage that's going into that shield is going into my energy, which is powering me up. Same goes for her personal barrier. If I pop that and take a bunch of damage, all that damage is going towards my energy. None gets to the health. None gets to the other player that's being shielded, and the shields have 200. They can protect 200 worth of damage. Once the 200 worth of damage goes away, the shields automatically drop. So you kind of go back to the space you're at. But again, you get all the energy from that. And again, that energy translates into higher damage with the beam, higher damage with the alternate fire, and really badass look, actually. I wish you could see what she looks like when she's full power. Her back of her armor comes out and is like this beam, weird light and shit. It's so cool. It's so cool. She just looks really cool when she's doing it. All of her stuff is like flared out. Let's talk about her particle cannon, which is her main gun. So again, you've got the beam fire, which is the primary fire and the primary way of dealing damage, and that right there too. You can also use the spamming the personal barrier when a Roadhog hooks you. And also, if you see somebody else getting hooked by a Roadhog, you can to protect them, and they usually won't take any damage. Because in a little bit, you'll see me barrier somebody's being charged by Reinhardt. You know how Reinhardt does that charge and he grabs you and pins you? I actually barrier protected them in the middle of the charge, and they didn't get any damage dealt to them. Yeah, it was pretty good. But anyway, as you can see, with being up at this, see, I'm at 100 right now. See how much damage is being done? Look at just the health melting off these people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Is
like,
that what the swirls are that are going towards people?
that was the ultimate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that the black hole thing I shoot, and then like there's a bunch of swirly shit like around nebula stuff. That's the black hole pulling everybody into it. See right there, I just tanked the crap out of Tracer's ultimate just because I popped my barrier. So she has such good survivability if you just can, right here, pop that, and he didn't die. And then we killed the Reinhardt in return for it. If you can just be good with being able to put the shields on people and know when to time your shields, you can survive for so freaking long. It's a bit hard to take down a good Zarya. So going back to the particle beam, or particle cannon, it's very strong. Again, once you get your energy up. If you don't have your energy up, it's not a weak weapon by any means, but it does not nearly melt people the way that it does whenever you get your energy up. She's built around getting that energy. And her ultimate fire, like I said, it's good with I wasn't able to protect him. It's good with being able to poke people from distances as well. Like I said, you can lob the energy at people, and you can kind of push people away from each other, and you can also just kind of make issues for people that are being stationary, essentially. But also don't discourage from using your zero energy beam too, because I mean, again, you have to obviously, but it still does good damage in its own right. It just doesn't deal nearly as much damage when you have the energy. And we've already talked about her R1 and L1. We didn't talk about, I guess, how long they last and whatnot, the cooldowns. So her personal barrier, as we said before, it's 200 damage it can take before it goes away. And it only goes on you. You can't give it to anybody, obviously, because it's a personal barrier. That also has a cooldown of 10 seconds. So the other barrier that you can give people, the projected one, that's got an 8-second cooldown. I personally spam the fuck out of this thing. 8 seconds is... It doesn't seem... I guess, again, all these time frames, which you're looking at, when like 8 seconds, 5 seconds... It doesn't seem so long when you're actually in game, because you give the barrier to somebody, it lasts for 2 seconds before they lose it, or they get the 200 damage dealt to them, and it gives you the energy back. And again, so literally you only got 6 seconds where you don't have it up on somebody. And again, I spam it on people. Like I don't give it to, like, you know, a Pharah that's up in the air unless she's getting poked at, or a McCree that's, you know, staying far back and sniping, or a Widowmaker, obviously, that's staying far back and sniping. I give it to people that are going up in the shit, and that are, you know, like another tank or a DPS that's going around that is that doesn't have a lot of movement. You know what I mean? So giving it to people like that can really help them out as far as being able to survive. You know, if you gave it to somebody and they were going to die like in 2 seconds, but they were about to kill somebody else, there's just so many scenarios that you can work with.
So they only get that extra 200 for 2 seconds, and then it's gone for them.
Yes. They don't get any extra health. It's just the shield that takes 200 damage. But you see right there, that Roadhog was getting shot at. I gave him the second to kind of, like, you know, get his shit together, and then he popped his super, and my energy went straight to 100.
Yeah.
So there's stuff like that again, you're just working with your teammates and kind of coordinate is really well. Again, I think I was solo queuing in this, so I wasn't really being like, I guess I wasn't being selective with who I was doing it to.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, and you get a shield, and you get a shield. I was just Oprahing everybody.
Oprah Zarya.
All right, so also let's talk about her ultimate, which is by far, like I said, one of her best things she's got going for. You get it relatively quickly as long as you play the character how she should be played, which I play her up in the shit constantly. So whenever I'm in the middle of like a point, like just right there, you see how it's all swirly and it picks them off the ground. They can still move around and aim, but it's really hard for them to do anything while they're in that. And that Ana powered me up too. I was really wishing that Zenyatta had to pop his ultimate right there, because I was about to wipe that whole entire team. And also not being too overzealous with her too, and not being like, oh, I'm invincible, I recharge my health, and I've also got barriers I can give everybody. No, don't do that, because you'll die so quickly. You just need to be aware that getting in and out of combat with her is going to be slow, so you need to be smart about her too. Oh, God, she's so much fun to play. Like, I'm just watching this, I'm just like, oh, this is so much fun. So, like I said, her Graviton Surge, whenever she pops that, it's the same kind of firing motion that she does with her alternate fire. It's like a lobbed shot, So it can go a pretty good distance, and it, like I said, it pulls everybody in, and it lasts 4 seconds, and it does 22 damage, like flat out just 22 damage. It's not a lot, but if somebody's close to death, or if they're getting shot and it deals like some final points of damage, then obviously it's done its job. And you get it so quickly that when you keep beaming people or you keep protecting people, like, because I'm always beaming like the crap out of everybody that's around me. So the more you do that, obviously the more you build super, and she builds it insanely quick. Like right now, you see I killed Zenyatta, I'm already at 20%. I'm beaming her and I'm already at 30%. Like it snowballs so quickly. So she's a lot of fun to play. Like I said, it's one of those characters that I think is tank-wise the most fun to play because she's the most active. Diva's really fun, but in my opinion, she just has a very defensive nature about her that causes her to stay defensive. Zarya can be defensive and then still be shooting you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Diva pops up her defense matrix and she, can't do anything once she's in that. She has to put it down in order to shoot you. Yeah. Zarya's like, I'm gonna bubble myself and then I'm still gonna keep shooting you while you're giving me energy to kill you.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. People, now I've found that people are stupid, and a lot of times when I have a shield,
people are dumb.
It's not that. Like people, I don't know what it is. Like I don't know what it is about people, but I will shield myself and I'll still get shot.
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is giving me energy. Like I get that, you can take it down, yes, but unless you're a certain character that's dealing high damage, you're not going to take down 200 health by the time 2 seconds is up for the most part. Unless you're doing a super of some kind. So you're just giving me a ton of energy. So I noticed that when I pop it sometimes, people are just still. They're just sitting there shooting me, and I'm like, what the fucking idiot. That guy was so funny. Did you see the Roadhog jump off and pull the Diva? Yeah, the Diva got loose and rocketed herself back up. I was laughing so hard after I watched that. So yeah, like I said, going over some of the things that we've kind of talked about, this Graviton Surge is the biggest thing I think with her, being able to coordinate that with your teammates, because I'm constantly in a lot of game modes when I'm being serious. Obviously, when I'm doing quick play, I don't really give a shit. But if I'm being serious and playing competitive, I'll constantly be letting people know, using the shout out commands or whatever it is. Hey, my ultimate's at 50%, or hey, my ultimate's at 20%, or whatever it is, and letting people know that hey, I'm ready to do whatever you want to do. And if people start posting up saying their ultimates are ready, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pop this thing whenever everybody's together, and then they can use their ultimates and go nuts. If Anna ever supers you, like actually gives you a nana boost, oh my god. If you're at 100% and Anna gives you a nana boost, it's almost borderline broken with how much damage you do and just how quickly you move around. It's just it's so good. But anyway, I guess for the most part, like I said, she's one of the most fun tanks in my opinion to play, and it just boils down to your own personal preference. But if you want a tank that's active and that can get in the shit and still see right there, like I'm constantly telling people, hey, my offense almost ready, hey, my offense almost ready, because I want people to coordinate all this stuff. But again, it's so hard to coordinate playing quick play. But if you want a tank that's able to be aggressive while also having high survivability, there's not one that I think is anywhere close to her.
And looks badass.
Just like her, she's a girl.
She looks great, and she's got awesome tat.
I wish I got the skin that was from the Russia one, like the Olympic one.
The Olympics, yeah, that was really cool.
Like with her, like it just looked really cool. I heard with blonde hair, it would look really awesome. So
I wish she had a Halloween one. She doesn't have one, does she? Probably because they gave her one for the Olympics.
Probably, yeah. I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot of cast members that don't have any for the Halloween thing. Which
well,
is
they did the
sad.
same for the Olympics. They're probably mixing it up with whatever they're gonna do next.
Yeah. Also, side note, with her aiming the beam, it's a lot easier to aim that thing than you really think. I mean, obviously, it's hard to track for some people because certain characters like Tracer and whatnot. But it's very simple, for me at least. I feel like to keep that beam on target with people. I just feel like it's one of those things that it's, even with the low sensitivity I have on console, I'm still able to keep pace with a lot of people. Even Tracer, when she's zipping around me, I'm still able to like kind of make an issue for her, if you know what I mean. But anyway, guys, hope you liked it, and I guess we'll see you next time for the last one, playing Zenyatta.
Well, bye, comrades.
Goodbye.
I don't know. I think I did a really bad job.